anyway, so.
Well, from there, I'll go on. From
Yes, sir.
my youth, as you said, I'll go on. From there, I went to the West Side School, of course, being out there. And I went to I think I started there I started there in the first grade, of course.
And that was a WPA building also, wasn't it?
Well, the first old school building wasn't. It was there, right there, where the Memorial Heights Baptist Church sits right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something new for me.
Well,
Give me a little bit of an idea of what that looked like.
They got a picture of it up there in the historical thing, and it was a brick building. Had schoolrooms on two. I think it was just two schoolrooms, one on each side of the door. And I think I started there. They just had a wooden auxiliary building to the side, and I think that's where I went to the first grade. And I think I went to the second grade in this building. I can't remember those days on like well. And my granddad then gave them the land to build that West Side School, the old West Side as everybody knows it as it is now. And WPA built that, and I think I started there the third grade, and that building went to the sixth grade. Okay. And then from the sixth grade went to the east side. And when I got to be an East Sider, I went downhill. I was a straight A student out there on the West Side, and I don't think I ever cracked a book after all.
We corrupted you. Now, going back just a little, okay, the West Side School.
Okay.
It faced 3rd Street. To your memory.
Oh, yeah, the early one. Yeah, it did.
Faced 3rd Street.
It faced 3rd Street.
Okay, right there where the church is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And directly across from that would have been Murphy's I think they call it Murphy's Outpost or something like that.
There was a 2-story house.
Yeah, a big 2-story house behind it.
And the 2-story house is still there, except it's just not recognizable.
You
it's
know,
a little apartment house that sits back there.
I think that's what most people think, but you know, I think that house was moved from across the road. There used to be behind the Indian Hospital, which was a totally different building it is now.
Yeah.
Beautiful building. Had a big circle drive with a hedge around it.
Stucco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back behind that, this house was the one that the administrator or whatever he was over the hospital lived in, or nurses, one or the other. And there was I believe there was a tennis court there, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken, they took that building, that stucco building, and moved it across over because it's the same building. It just looks like the same building. And I believe they tore that big 2-story house down that you're thinking about. I believe they tore that down. I may be wrong on that, but that building, that stucco building, looks like the same building.
Well, and this is a good point to say this to whoever would be viewing this. Memories, I don't know how accurate they are, but, you know, as a disclaimer here, this is how we remember things.
Yeah.
And if somebody would say, no, you're wrong on that, you're wrong on this, and that's fine, to be corrected.
Yeah.
So it's your memory on what you see and how you've recorded it in your mind, and for whoever would be viewing this to let them know now that no, anything that I would say or maybe you will say is always would be to be corrected. But it's how you remember it.
Yeah.
And as people get together and you get a little more finite look at it, and the reason why I say that is Pete Hendricks bought the old Murphy house when he owned that little Melody Motel that was there.
Yeah.
And we converted it
really?
to the plumbing. And at the time, we parked between the stucco building you're talking about and that building. But they took the front off of it when they, you know, the souvenir shop or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But those are things, like we said, I had to sit here and think, is the old Highway Patrol building still there?
Yeah.
You know, you have in your mind a memory of a building that was someplace, and it's still there, I guess, in your memory.
Yeah.
But then you drive by and it's gone.
Yeah.
Which is why we're talking about what we're talking, you know.
Well, as I said earlier, I didn't know back then we didn't keep that close to track because I didn't know we was going to have a test at this age.
Or would even be around.
Yeah.
But now I'll have to tell you though, that's the first time I've learned something here visiting with you about the Old West Side School. I just assumed that it was.
No, and like I said, they've got a picture there in the historical
Okay.
thing. It shows that building. It looked a little different when we went, but because they modernized it, I think they had a set of steps or something on the front. They changed the looks of it a little bit, but it was there where the old church is, or the old church where the memorial church is right now.
And again, to digress just a little,